Alright, this is We the People News. One more time at it, just like the other video. Not attorney, not giving legal advice. Just my opinion. Do your own research. Alrighty? And for whoever's using it, there you go. Alright, so again, what constitutional authority do they have? Right? Not statutes, not codes, not rules, not regulations, not the judge's opinions. Right? Everybody's got a butt cheek. Okay? So they're just speaking out of their butt. And so far they've been wrong. So their opinion is not even worth a salt on the earth, okay?
Related lawsuit. No response from either. And I sat on the phone for a half hour with the company, ultimately being told I need to talk to human resources. For these innocent drivers, knowing they weren't guilty the entire time and having to blow into a device just to drive was troubling enough.
It's embarrassing to do it in front of my child.
But what they lost financial?
We're going to pause right there again. Now, since this is a corporation, always read the full contract, y'all. That's just a must. Okay? Just signing your life away without reading it, you know, that's on you. However, there's this thing called a notice of liability. Okay? And you can do it with the government. It's harder than the corporation itself. So start using notice of liability against these corporations. Okay? So start digging into that. All right? Another one I want to bring up. Do you guys think it's about time, with all that's going on of losing our rights, that we ought to start thinking about listening to some of these people that actually kind of understands and read the driver's license laws or statutes or codes, rules, and regulations that applies to corporations? This lady right here was bound to her driver's license. In order to keep her driver's license to keep driving the car, she had to have this machine. And not only that, people, when you are arrested, it stays on the police database that you're arrested. But it never says, ever, that the case has been dismissed, or you found not guilty, or you was found innocent, or if you was even found guilty. It just shows on there that you're arrested. Okay? She's going to have this on the computer for every single time she gets pulled over now. And she was innocent. Okay, maybe not this one 100% innocent, but the other ones were, right? But then think about that. Now, you're still bound with that driver's license to every single time you pulled over of that arrest record. And even though you're innocent of the charges, that puts the officer of high alert. And not only that, that's a third-party entity. Again, maybe we ought to start filing notice of liability that you are putting my life at risk with these officers on thinking that I was this criminal when the case was dismissed. So that should go off my database. My name should be erased off the database of that arrest. Just saying. We need to start going after these third-party entities, okay? And they're well protected because of the government, but, I mean, really, talk to your attorney, ask them questions about that. I'm still one to say that, you know, we, the people, need to start educating ourselves and we all start gaining up on them. And just saying, enough is enough, don't you think?
Is still something they're recovering from.
I want my money back.
Okay, Shelley Hoover tells me that she's now getting calls from debt collectors from Intoxilock. Now, I've read through her contract. I didn't see anywhere that shows you have to show that your license was reinstated in order to end the lease, but it does read that you have to show proof that the court that mandated you have the device has authorized you to end the lease early. Hoover says she's now trying to get that from the courts to try to end the contract. Tracy.
How frustrating. Jeremy, I know you just asked the governor about what you've uncovered in your sobering problem investigations.
Yeah, we did. As we've told you, our reporting found 609 drivers in Tennessee were charged with DUI and ended up being completely sober. These were innocent people that were then charged with a crime they didn't commit. And I'm wondering if you think the state's police agencies need to be taking a look at that.
Well, I don't know the particulars of those cases
Listen to these words very carefully, y'all.
or arrests. I do know that our law enforcement agencies are tasked with being highly professional and are such.
Okay. Number one, you're a governor. When are you been pulled over by a cop? Okay, number one. So how can you say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the officers are in honor with everybody? Because as far as I know, the Supreme Court says it's illegal for every officer to lie, and every single day they lie to us, and they never, since they put you in detainment in Texas, it's, well, anytime you're detained, it's a seizure. You're under custodial arrest, people. There's just no way around it. They can use all these fancy words, and Terry versus Ohio came up with the detainment crap, all right? But you're under arrest. You're not free to go, okay? You must speak the words, am I being detained or am I free to go, and all that kind of stuff. Then you automatically start invoking your Fifth Amendment. Or whatever state you live in, start invoking that Constitution since you're within that state. But me personally, I would do both, all right, and keep that on hand. With the Fourth Amendment, then your state Constitution that matches the Fourth Amendment. Then you invoke the Fifth Amendment that matches in your state with the Fifth Amendment. And if you get handcuffed and all that, now it's cruel and unusual punishment, Eighth Amendment, and then use your state Constitution and start invoking all these constitutions where they have no place to go. Because when you start saying, I invoke the Fifth, great and fine and dandy. But they're not a federal agency. Okay? If they're going to use all this crap of separation, even though there is no separation anymore, okay, the superior clause is out the window, all right, then you must start invoking both of them. Okay? Just saying. Cover that tushy, okay? If you have to, put a diaper on. Make sure it's covered.
The governor went on to say that he has great confidence that police are following policies and procedures that are nationally recognized. The question we continue to ask, though, if this training works, why are hundreds of people still being arrested who are innocent? Marius?
A very valid question. Jeremy, thank you so much.
Yeah. Isn't that a very valid question, people? I don't care if you've never been pulled over or if you for the blue line or anything. The question you got to ask yourself, why is innocent people keep being in the crosshairs? And why are they suffering with their loss of wages, loss of jobs, loss of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness? for being innocent? That's the questions you got to ask yourself. And the next question is, if it is happening, why is the courts letting it happening? All right. In Texas, we have a right to vote for our judges in our local community. People, don't you think you ought to start investigating your judges? Not everybody has Fletcher in their system. 99.9% of Texas. Excuse me. Got a frog in there. But that being said, 99% of the judges is not like Fletcher, however you pronounce his last name. Okay, we done video, go check him out and all that kind of stuff. All right, but even then, he's not really following the full Texas law of the criminal code procedures and the statutes within that deal. He's the best that we have in Texas, that I'm led to believe and found. However, he's still not fully doing it correctly. All right. These will be the People News. Till next time, never, never, never just look straight forward. Always look around you, be able to protect yourself necessary. All right? And this is the reason why we got to think outside the box. Where is the constitutional authority that you must be forced in some type of contract and not being found guilty yet? You haven't even had your really court done through. I can understand all this contract thing if you want your license and all that and you want to stay under the state contract with that. Once you are found guilty. But right now, you've already been sentenced without going through your due process. Your first thing is you're automatically sentenced. You're guilty until proven innocent. Till next time, this will be the People News. Bye, y'all.